All right, Panther fans, smiles, victory, cigars. There we go. All right, now I'm going to do it. I'm going to remember before we get started. Please make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe bell, and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell.
Not make sure. If you like our videos,
oh, okay. Only if you like it.
Hit the like button.
All right, Stu's talking me off the ledge here.
We got a lot of views and very little likes. I mean, it takes a millisecond to just hit the like button.
We appreciate it. So Stu's got his victory cigar, and
right?
I just have no words left because what that third line did last night. Now, obviously, this is simply coincidence. But since I made the "We're Not Trading Lundell" video, which by the way has 2.2 thousand views, and we talked about Mason Marchment not quite being himself, since then the two of them have been basically on a mission. They've been on a mission. So coincidence or not, what they did last night.
We know everybody watches our videos. They won't admit it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Goldie one night, said offensive juggernaut. Where'd he get that from?
Right.
Have you ever heard that expression other than from my mouth? Come on.
Not in terms of the Panthers, that's for sure. So
I wouldn't even call them a third line, seriously. I mean,
no.
You know, do we have a second and third line? I mean, that line, the way they played last night, I mean, they could be a first line, but it's, it was great before he got, I mean, I'm just imagining where Marchment would be right now because he was killing it before he got hurt.
Right.
And, concussions are tough.
Yeah.
So, obviously COVID on top of that didn't help, but right. I'm glad to see him back. For all the people that were like, what is Marchment doing on the top line? And what about, why is that? You know what? He put them all to bed last night.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the way he's been playing the last couple of weeks has been, I mean, I was going to say Bennett's the hottest Panther or Reinhardt's the hottest Panther. Marchment is the hot, you know what? They're all hot right now.
Yeah, no. Well, mine, except for one, which we'll talk about.
I'm just wondering how long they can sustain, I mean, is this going to be?
Well, it's different guys. Remember, we had the 1 week where it was the fourth line every night. We're just getting a couple of goals. You know what I mean? So it's not all Barkov and Huberdeau. I mean, they were sitting on the bench most of the end of the third period last night. They didn't come back in. So I think that's and that was the point I made in that Lundell video, is that the reason why Barkov and Huberdeau have so much energy to expend is because you can throw Lundell out there against anybody, and it's the same result, right? So we're just that ridiculously deep. Now, speaking of our depth, it's a happy show, but it wouldn't be Jaws and Stu if we didn't have something to kvetch about. So let's start with Ekblad and Uyghur. I'm just gonna say go, Stu.
Well, I've said it many times that pair should be split up. Okay, they're very much alike. They're very offensive minded. Uyghur even admitted it to himself and to everybody else in his post game. Where he said we kind of got lazy. I don't know. Falling down and falling all over yourself is one thing. Taking the puck in front of your net, trying to stick handle through two guys, as Ekblad did,
right,
is moronic.
Yeah.
And it usually doesn't end well. And that's exactly what he did last night. I don't know whether these guys, have been watching Bobby Orr video and think that they're the reincarnation of Bobby Orr, but, both of them have done that. Both of them do that, and both of them get burned.
Right.
3 out of the 4 goals scored by Columbus last night were a result of Ekblad and Uyghur screw-ups.
Right.
So, and Burnett continues to put them out there. All right, granted, they're best friends. They got good chemistry. They got good, but this is not personal. It's business,
right,
as Michael Corleone would say. these guys got to be split up.
Right.
Forsling should be playing with Ekblad. Forsling is again our best defenseman. He knows when to, attack, and he knows when to stay back.
We're getting some weird interference. Is there a plane or like something
Yeah.
on? Oh, is
Yeah,
it? Oh, okay.
There's a plane flying overhead.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So, I'm not too keen on Uyghur and Gudis, both right-handed shots.
Right.
But
right. Yeah, that's the thing.
Gudis is your stay back defenseman on that pairing.
Right. Right.
So,
right.
I don't understand why Bruno just doesn't do it. And let's see how it flies.
Yeah.
Let's use, make it an experiment for a game, and let's see how it goes. I mean, obviously that just, leads into the next question, what Zito's seeing and what Zito, what packages are you going to put together for Chikrin? Because obviously that's the guy we want.
Right. 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 Yeah.
Whether it's the fans saying it or the pundits saying it, or, whoever. And Billy Lindsay was on the NHL Network last night talking about it, and he said it's a great story. Kid born, I mean, how many times do I have to say it?
Right,
Boca Raton kid returns home. He might not be playing well now, but, he's on Arizona, and, all I know is the kid's got talent, and if we are lucky enough to get him, then what? Do they put Chikrin with that Glad? No. All I know is,
and then what? Uyghur with Forsling?
Something needs to be done with those two.
Right.
Either Bruno does nothing as far as separating them, or he's got to have a sit down with those guys and show them the video from last night over and over and over and over and over again, and say, look, Eki, you can't do what you did. Or Uyghur, you can't beat Keith Yandel falling down at the blue line and letting the opposition go in for a breakaway. I mean, it's happened half a dozen times this year, the same type of deal, where Uyghur was trying to stick handle or do a spinorama or do some fancy schmancy play, and the opposition player took the puck away and went in and scored. So anyway, that's all I'll say on that. It's going to be interesting to see, and again, speculation on the deal. We know we're not trading Lundell. We know we're not trading Knight. I've come back.
There's a guy on Twitter that says Doug Sifu told him that Spencer Knight was part of the deal. Yeah.
Well, you saw what I did to that guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, you want to be realistic. Here's the deal that makes sense, and I've said it in the last couple of videos. Obviously, Owen Tippett is the primary guy in the package. Arizona's going to need to replace Chikrin, a defenseman. So you give him a defenseman. So you got, now again, I don't know the status of Nudavara. He's kind of been in limbo since we got him.
Yeah.
But you got Ulevy, Kirstead, Carlson. You even have, and I don't want to say Prisky, but you have, obviously a couple of guys in the AHL. Well, let's just say those three. Kirstead, Carlson, and Ulevy. And quite frankly, it doesn't matter to me which one they get rid of. I'm leaning towards Kirstead because, from what I've seen this year, he hasn't really impressed me so much. Carlson's playing okay. Ulevy played pretty good. So it doesn't matter, but I think we have to give him a defenseman to replace a defenseman that they're losing. And then it comes down to the picks. Personally, I wouldn't give up a first pick because we don't have a first pick this year. We have a first pick in 23. And again, that guy, Dan, who came on, who was a scout, said the 23 class is strong. 22 class is not so strong. If it cost us a second round pick in 23, and maybe you throw in a fourth or fifth round pick in this year's draft, I don't know if that gets it done.
I don't know.
But that's the deal. Hopefully they would take it. And then again, all right, so great, we get him. Where do we put him? Is he a top pairing? Again, it all depends on whether Bruno's got the balls, or I should say, or he's got the foresight to see that the Ekblad Uyghur combination has danger signs. They can't pull that crap in the playoffs.
No,
You
no,
know, a goal, you know, a play like that Ekblad made
right.
that led to the goal could be the difference in a
Mhm.
playoff game.
Mhm.
I mean, it
Yeah,
doesn't matter right now. It's the regular season, blah, blah, blah. But in a
yeah, we're
playoff
scoring
game,
8 a night.
that could be the difference.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, and I don't see, by the way, I don't see us scoring 8 and 9 goals, you know, in the playoffs. You know, the playoffs is when everybody tightens up, you know, tightens
Yeah.
everything down, and you
No, to
know,
be more like 5. I mean,
well,
I mean, even the games where we've played tight, I mean, I can't count how many times we've scored 3 or fewer goals this year. It's not been a lot.
yeah. Again, I'm not saying that they can't do it, but it's the regular season now. It's not the playoffs.
Right,
There's something about the playoffs, you know, where you usually don't see, you know, landslides like we've been seeing.
right, right. Well, no, and that's true. And then the other thing we talked about, unfortunately, is just like hopefully tonight, is what I said this in the recap last night, but hopefully you got to figure Vetrano is going to draw back in, and Joe's gonna draw back out. Now, my idea, obviously, Joe is just not. He's just not. But we've got these back to backs. We might need a little bit of extra energy, and you got to figure Vetrano is going to be pissed. So maybe he can go out there tonight and stir something up and give you a game. You know what I mean? But the thing with Joe, what was it you that told me that in order to get a cup, he has to be at least in one playoff game? Right. So yeah, we better get a 3-0 series lead and have a home game 4 on somebody, because that's the only time he should be out there. He just completely disrupts the whole thing that fourth line is doing, because, and it's not even about him being slow. He can't keep the puck on his stick. It's just the kids can just take it away from him too easy. And that's the big, at least Yager was slow, but you couldn't get the puck away from him. So, you know, we'd have puck possession and they'd have to, their defense would get exhausted just trying to get the puck away from those guys. So with Thornton, the kid can just come right in, and Joe can't move his upper body fast enough to keep the puck away. And I hate it for him, because we all know why he came. But Jari, Vetrano, so we got to be ready to put somebody else in that spot.
Agreed.
Yeah, I know.
It's great. It's great though. 32 seconds into the game, you know, of course, you know, when I post and I say, you know, we need to get out to a quick start, stay out of the penalty box, you know, the usual stuff, the usual winning formula. And this is like the second game in a row where we got a goal, you know, under a minute to start the game. I mean, you can't ask for a better start. And of course, you know, who sets up the play with a perfect pass? Anton Lundell.
Yeah, no, he was.
Let's talk about Lundell.
Let's talk about Lundell.
Because I'm all fired up because I just posted something on Twitter, because the NHL.com put out this poster. Okay. And it says, presenting NHL.com's All-Star Rookie NHL All-Star team.
Okay.
Does anybody see Anton Lundell on this?
You're kidding
on this
me.
list?
You're kidding me.
Okay. So
how many guys are we talking about?
There's
is it just like one line's worth and a goalie?
There's Tanner Janot from Nashville. Never heard of him. Martin Ferravari from, I don't know where he's from. Trevor Zegras.
Yeah.
Lucas Raymond.
Right.
Moritz Seider. And Dukovic, the goalie. So you got 3 Detroit Red Wings on here. Now Raymond is leading in points. He's got 35. Trevor Zegras from Anaheim, he's got 32 points. So coming into the game last night, Lundell had 27 points.
Right.
Now he's got 32 points.
Now he's got 32.
So he is tied for he is tied for second in
Right.
scoring.
Right.
But again, I come back to, that the writers usually will look at scoring and see the best rookie. What they really need to
Right.
do is look at all the important stats. Now, as far as Raymond and I think there's another guy, the Sider, they're from Detroit. I believe that they play the power play, and they've been getting a lot of their points from the
Right.
power play. Lundell really doesn't play the power play.
No, they put the second
But,
unit out there last night with 3 seconds left.
Yeah, so I mean, if we took a look at Lundell's stats, I think he's like first in the league in faceoffs. He's like fourth in the league overall in takeaways.
Yeah. Was it even fourth?
I don't know, but he leads in so many categories.
Right.
But I mean, if they look at the complete package, and that's what they really should do whenever they pick the winner of a trophy.
Right.
Like, again, thing with the Norris Trophy, the best defenseman, it's usually done by how many points these guys get.
Right.
But
Speaking of which, the Rangers won't have Adam Fox tonight, just in case anybody was wondering. Yeah, no,
they're
but
gonna have Shesterkin, and he took us to town last game. So
yeah,
we got to get to him early.
Right. Yeah,
and get his confidence rattled, because that's what happened in the last game. That first period, we bombarded him, and he just, he shut the door. And
right.
Of course, when you do that against our offense, I mean, I'm sure the rest of the bench was like, "Hey, man, we got these guys."
Right.
So I hope, I'm not expecting another 8-4 win tonight.
No,
I'll be happy just to win 2-1.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting, Spencer Knight in the net tonight.
Yeah, that's a good point. That
I don't know, what other reason they brought him back up.
No, that would make sense.
And I think I told you that last week when you were saying, Bob might have to play back-to-backs, and I didn't think that was going to happen.
What got me going was the George Richards article when they sent Spencer down. He was kind of floating the idea that, we might see Johansson one of those 2 games. And, usually George is pretty on the pulse. So I kind of thought, oh, wait, what? Who? Why? Why would we do that? And then they brought him back and put him on the taxi squad for a half a second, I guess. There's all these roster moves that they have to make to keep under these certain numbers and everything like that. So I mean, they sent him down, he played a game, and now he's back up. And I guess Charlotte is it's centrally located, right? So it's not like he's flying from Canada to Charlotte and then having to fly back, to LA or something like that. It's a short trip. So I guess no worries there. But yeah, we've got to see him tonight. And then that's it. We've got All-Star Friday and Saturday. I got to look at the schedule and see what's going on with
it's going to be it's going to be good that we're getting a couple of weeks off, because look what happened coming back off the COVID break.
Right.
We've been dynamite. We've been dynamite since since the break. I think we've lost 1 game.
I think it was 2. I think we're something in 2 or 1 in. I think we lost 2. The second, because the second one was to the Kraken. I think Kraken is 2.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we've been playing terrific since the break.
So the point being is that we have to work to find out. We have to work to remember if it's 1 or 2.
It gives everybody a chance to heal up from the nicks and the bruises and whatnot. Barkov, obviously, I always like to see him getting a little breather.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That is something that somebody brought up last night. And then maybe this is making an excuse. Maybe it's part of it. But because I tweeted about, it'd be nice if Ekblad and Uyghur play some defense. And we got the mostly the normal responses. And then somebody said, hey, Brunette's kind of, playing them practically 30 minutes a night, and these guys are getting exhausted. I haven't looked at the ice time I mean, it could be that could be a piece of it. They are playing a lot of ice time. I mean, especially Ekblad. I mean, that he's out there a lot. He's got to be playing 27, 28 minutes a night.
He plays a lot of minutes.
Right.
One thing I'll bring up before I forget, I don't remember the last time Ekblad took a shot from the point on the power play.
Right.
It seems like every power play, we don't get one shot from him, one Ekblast. You know, it's all going through Huberdeau, which I have no problem with.
Right.
Probably the smart thing to do because of his vision and his ability to get the puck to the right person.
Right.
But I see a pattern, and the pattern is, Ekblad gets it over to Huberdeau, and Huberdeau is looking for Barkov in that Kucherov spot on the right side.
Right.
Occasionally they'll look in the middle for Duclair.
Right.
Again, as long as they're scoring on the power play, I have no problem how they do it. But I would like to see Ekblad shoot more. And I think the reason for that, the reason why he's not, is we don't have Hornquist in front of the net.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I don't know. I'd have to look, at replays and stuff to see if Reinhardt's the guy that's in front of the net.
Right.
But another observation is, and I don't know how we segued over to the power play, but since it's fresh in my mind, you and I had talked about this many moons ago, and that was the fact that the first unit seemed to be on there 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Right.
And by the time the second unit got on, there really wasn't any power play. And now they're switching them up after a minute, which is good because our second unit is really good. I mean, you got Verhage, Bennett, Montour. I don't know who else is on the second unit. Doesn't matter, but our second unit is pretty good too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that in my mind, I just see a recurring pattern on what we do on the power play, and if I see it, opposition coaches see it also.
Right.
That's the point I wanted to make.
Yeah. I get
pretty predictable what we're doing out there.
Right.
And again, the way to combat our power play is just to be overly aggressive. And we've seen it, many times, like when the other team is attacking us and going after us, and the minute we touch the puck, they're on our power play, or they won't let us get in and set up. Our power play is nullified.
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of energy out of the other team to do that, which is why you only see that in spaces. But the other thing with Huberdeau running it the way he's been running it, you're talking about it being kind of predictable, and you're not wrong. But the wild card there is every once in a while he shoots, and then nobody's expecting that, and he's been getting goals that way, kind of doing the jiggy dance to try to and then the other guys are going to try to block the pass, and he's flipping back around and taking a shot.
Yeah, that's working. Great. I mean, obviously he scored a lot of goals that way this year, so I'm all for that.
I even see Barkov got the puck on his stick last night and just shot it rather than looking for a pass. They're really, between Lundell and a lot of these guys starting to figure out to just take the damn shots. I think that's contributing, a lot to where now it's just like, oh, we only got 4 tonight. It was an off night. You know what I mean? And, it's unfortunate, like you said, it was on NHL Network. So it was unfortunate that our defense had to show its ass last night. But offensively, we looked pretty good. And Bobrovsky, he didn't have much of any chance on any of those. And, I'm not the Bobrovsky apologist, but, when you're just going to let guys just walk in and it's just going to be, a shooter and the goalie, and they've got time to deke and duke and all of this, more times than not, the goalie's going to get beat. And, and then the one was that long deflection where, Bobrovsky,
no chance.
He had no chance. So
listen, Bob played good again last night. I mean, he made, 3 or 4 really, really good saves. He's still in the Bob zone
in the first
period.
I
love the fact that the game was on the NHL Network last night, because you know, we don't get the national exposure enough that we deserve.
Right.
We're starting to get it now,
Yeah.
but the rest of the country and Canada got to see our offense in action. You know, when they made it 5-4, and then we got, you know, we got that 6th goal.
Yeah.
And then we got this. I mean, it was basically game over. I mean,
Right. Right.
they're looking at their TV going,
Right.
wow, the Panthers, what an offense.
Right.
Holy cow, 8 goals. And, you know, we scored 2 of them. Tippett Uyghur was 15 seconds apart.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
then we
I
had
mean,
that. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's just incredible how we can, you know, we can go from 3rd, 4th to 6th gear,
Right.
you know, get that Porsche revved up. And, you know, by the time we're in 6th gear, 2-3 goals have been scored and it's game over.
Yep.
I mean, after we got that, you know, after, I don't know, not so much the Tippett goal, but after the Uyghur goal was scored, that was basically it.
Yeah.
Columbus gave up.
Well, they tried to make a game of it, but I mean, even after we got 8, we had in the 3rd period, we had about a 2 or 3 minute straight zone possession time where they couldn't get the puck away from us. We were changing players, and we didn't get a goal, but I mean, we ate practically 3 minutes of time just passing the puck around and keep away, and
The thing that sucks,
that's got to just be absolutely just
demoralizing.
exhausting. Yeah, exactly. That's the word.
It's demoralizing what happens.
Right.
You know, Goldie was saying they can't handle us, and that's the thing with a lot of teams.
Right.
When you're on the bench and you're seeing what's going on, you're going like, "Holy shit! How do we overcome this?"
Right.
You know, this continual wave. It's just wave after wave.
Right.
The thing that sucks about the game last night, and this is like my only negative, like towards the end of the 3rd period, Marchman had 4 or 5, but let's just say 4 really good scoring chances.
Yeah.
And one of them was a breakaway.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that would have been his hat trick.
Right.
And his 7th point, which would have been a franchise record. It didn't happen, so that's my only bummer of the whole night.
Yeah, if you watch the games where we've gotten close to 10, the 8 and the 9s, it seems like we've got 5 minutes left to get that 1 or 2 last goals, and then no matter what, like Joe had 3/4 of an open net and nobody's standing there, and he somehow missed it. And so it seems like that's what happened in the. Remember, Barkov hit the post, and Tippett had one just dribble an inch wide. So I mean,
Bennett hit the post.
Bennett hit the post. Marchment last night. And it just seems like no matter what, it's like the hockey gods are all right. That's it for tonight, guys. Save some, because all of a sudden the puck luck with 5 minutes to go just completely goes away. And the thing that you said, I wanted to comment on what Randy said last night about how we come in waves and everything like that. And what he was talking about was that's how they practice. You know, they go out there for a half hour, 40 minutes. It's hardcore. It's hard. It's fast. That's how they're practicing. And then they get off the ice. And it's clearly paying dividends. You know what I mean?
Well, I texted you at some point late in the game, and it was not off a goal or anything. And the guy that spurred me on to write that text was Lumberg. Every shift, every player is given 110%.
Right.
And I know there's been some games where we've seen some coasting, but you don't see anybody coasting on this team.
No.
They're in full attack mode 100% of the time. Everybody's hustling, going into the corner,
Yep.
Battling for the puck, whatever.
Right.
But there's just a lot of intensity. And we've never seen that before with a Panther team, where every player is dialed in and every player is hustling and earning their paycheck.
Yeah, we usually would see it in the last, oh crap, we're down a goal, we got 3 minutes left. Okay, now let's play some hockey. And they would give us those 3. And every once in a while they'd get a goal and we go to overtime, and we'd say, okay, well, at least we got a point. And now we realize how crappy that was. Now we really see it.
So let's point out another I can find the damn thing. Oh boy.
What are we looking for?
This is the tweet that I made about Tippett. Is tonight the night where Tippett
Said gets off the
is
schneid.
tonight the night that Owen Tippett gets off the schneid and buries a goal or two. We are all rooting for him to score. Hopefully playing with Red Hot Sam Bennett and the Duke will result in a few goals from that line. So obviously he scored last night.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, he had a number of chances where, again, you know, he didn't. I mean, he was left all alone. I mean, it was a great pass.
Right.
from
Right.
Whoever, I don't know who dished it over to him, but I mean, he was all alone, and obviously he scored. And if you notice, he didn't even celebrate.
Right.
He was just like, you know, he raised his stick a little bit. He didn't smile or nothing. I mean, you watch the replay. It's like almost like I scored. Oh, what a relief.
Right.
You know? But
well, and you know,
what I wrote you the end of the night, I wrote you, if Tippett gets traded, can you imagine how crushed that kid's going to be?
Right.
He's on a team that's you know, has probably the best potential to win the cup of any Panther team in history.
Yeah.
And he gets traded right before that might happen.
And to Arizona, that would be.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what happened with Billy Harris and Dave Lewis. They got traded to the Kings, and the Islanders got Butch Goring, and now, you know, the rest is history. But I just can't imagine what that would do, you know, what that will do or would do to a player that is on a potential Stanley Cup winner, and he gets traded for what could be the final piece of the puzzle. That wins the cup. That's all.
Yep. No, I get it.
We know he's going if they do make a trade. I can't see anybody else that's the primary.
Not if it's Chychrun. Yeah. Not if we're getting Chychrun. If we end up getting a lesser player, then we may not have to trade him. But you know, and then the you know, to your point, you know, he drafted by the Panthers, and you know, he did do a lot of hard work, right? In the minors. I mean, he put on a lot of weight. He's worked hard. It hasn't exactly paid off for him, you know, in terms of exactly how he, you know, on ice play. We've, you know, he doesn't play. His style of play is almost more like he's trying to be like a marchman. It's almost like he's trying to be more of like a gritty type of player. And I don't really see, when I watch him play, I say, well, what made this kid so special that we took him in the first round? Right. I mean, he doesn't do he's not terrible, but there's nothing that you see and you point out in his game that he's using that you go, oh, there it is. That's what we've been waiting for. He's just kind of out there and trying to, you know, he's just kind of out there. And that's kind of what you expect out of your guys. You know, you talk about third, fourth, fifth round picks or guys that you pick off of the waiver wire. But, you know, like with Matheson, you could see his potential if he could learn how to harness it, right? But with Tippett, it's like, what was the reason? What was the thing?
His shot.
Right.
And that's why I'm so disappointed, because, you know, we drafted him because he was supposedly the sniper of that draft.
I see.
And we haven't seen that. And when we've seen the shot, it, you know, he's not finding those, you know, those top corners. He's not scoring like pure goal scorers score.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like last night wasn't a great shot. I mean, he happened to be in front and he kind of deflected, tipped it in, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
You know, before the goalie had a chance to react.
Yeah.
And he scored, but we haven't seen those highlight reel, you know, snapshots or slap shots or whatever, where he just whizzes it by the goalie. So
yeah, well, Talon missed on a few. Look at Borgstrom. We thought Borgstrom was going to be the artist. And
Borgstrom at 175 pounds. You know, the kid's a twig. I was
Yeah.
watching some of the Chicago game, and Borgstrom was playing with Kane, and you know, listen, you roll the dice with any draft pick.
Right.
Obviously, two players that I was so high on was Ekblad and Lundell. I mean,
Yeah.
you remember before the draft even happened, I was like, this kid from Finland, I've seen his videos, this kid's incredible, blah, blah, blah. You know what? He's even blown away my expectations. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody was saying before the season started, oh, we hope Lundell lives up to,
Yeah.
the hype and whatnot. I mean, can we all agree that that kid is just a special player?
Yeah. And look, I mean, that's what's happened when I did my previews before. I mean, there's 2 seasons ago, I think we had, or at least I did, and it was kind of accepted that we had Borgstrom penciled in at either 2 or 3C. And I really liked him. And I really thought, I thought when he came in, he was just kind of getting used to things and just, he would figure it out, but his game never progressed past that. You just kind of, I don't know if it was a confidence thing or what. So yeah, the point being is that with Lundell, yeah, us Panther fans, we've had plenty of guys that's supposed to be the guy, you know what I mean? And then they come in and it hasn't really. I mean, Barkov obviously worked out. Huberdeau obviously worked out. Ekblad obviously worked out. But we've had a lot of. I mean,
Huberdeau took some time though.
Huberdeau took some time, but
There was
like
a
Nick
period where
Bigstad, right?
we were all soured on him, and he wasn't doing well.
Right.
He had that Achilles injury. Since he's come back from that injury,
Right.
it's a different Huberdeau.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Especially
that guy. Talk about confidence level.
Yep. Yeah.
Off the chart.
No, I know. And you can see it.
Off the friggin' chart. And it's nice to see anytime you have a Panther leading the league in something,
Right.
like Barkey winning the Selkie. Well deserved.
Right.
But, the players that, the Bergerons and like the Austin Matthews and, the Connor McDavids.
Right.
I mean, to see Huberdeau leading the league in points.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got more assists and goals. And you know what? At this point, I would take his assist over the goals because he's spreading the wealth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and to me, a primary assist is sometimes more important than a goal.
The goal doesn't. Yeah. No, absolutely.
I mean, think about how many guys. I mean, you could just go down the list: Duclair, Bennett, Reinhardt, Barkov. You think about there's 4 guys just there.
Right.
That he's played an important part of their scoring goals.
Yeah, I mean, the goal doesn't happen.
So,
a lot of the goals don't happen unless, you get that perfect pass from Huberdeau.
I mean, there's so many good things going for us right now. And, of course, I worry when we get to the playoffs, are we going to be able to, the way we play and the way we score, is that going to, continue over into the playoffs?
Well, right now, if the season ended, we'd have a series against Boston and Tampa would have to play Toronto. So that would be round 2, us against Tampa. So I feel confident we can score against Boston, and we know we could beat Vasilevsky. So then you had to look at who would win the other bracket. That's probably going to be Carolina. Maybe the Rangers could beat them. I know Pittsburgh's been playing better, but I don't see them beating Carolina or the Rangers. So, in terms of, I still think we're going to be getting 4 or 5 a night. I really do. And the reason why I say that is because when we need to score, we just put 2 or 3 in the back of the net, right? So you figure come playoff time, I mean, just imagine like a game 5, in the series tilting thing, and we get behind 2-1 and they turn on that offense. Well, maybe we only get, a tie 2-2, where we take a lead 3-2, and then the other team comes back and then we turn it on again. when we've had the score, we turn it on and, you know, it's not been 100%, but it's been pretty close to it. So, and I know playoffs are a little bit of a different animal.
Players are a different animal because
Right.
it's not about the scoring. It's about the defense and, more importantly, goaltending. That's
Yeah.
what wins you the cup is goaltending.
Yeah, no, that much is true.
The goalie is the most important player on the ice in the playoffs,
Right,
without a doubt.
right,
So, I mean, you can look at some of the goals that we scored last night on Columbus mistakes, on defensive mistakes. See, we haven't really talked about that so much. You know, we talk about our mistakes and whatnot, but think about some of the goals that were scored last night and bad
Right.
decisions by their defensemen, you know, trying to clear the puck. Like one particular goal, and I think maybe it was even the first goal. Yeah, it was the first goal. The Columbus defenseman went to, you know, get it out of the zone,
right.
off the boards, and Lundell intercepted it
Yeah,
with his body,
right,
and it
right,
came down, and Marchment was all alone. And before you know it, Lundell's perfect pass to Marchment was in the net.
Yeah,
So, you know, that's what wins you playoff games
right,
is, you know, defensive mistakes that
right.
lead
And
to
being
goals.
able to capitalize on. No,
You know, there's
yeah,
not a there's not a lot of 2-on-1s, you know, or breakaways. I mean, not that it doesn't happen, but a lot of games are decided by a defensive mistake.
Yep. No, I agree.
Anyway, let's not even talk about the playoffs
Yeah, we'll
yet.
see. So we
There's
got
still a lot of
Right.
season left.
right. We got the
No,
Rangers
again,
tonight, and
the goal is just to finish first and get home ice advantage.
no, we got to have home ice. That has
we
to
get
happen.
home ice advantage. That is just such a big, you know, that's like talk about like a casino. You know, the house always has the edge. So
Yeah.
and we will have a full building, and it will be rocking.
Yes, absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
yeah. So we have the Rangers tonight at the Garden.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, that the Garden's a special place to play. Hopefully we have some more ammo left, and, you know, we didn't shoot it all out of the gun last night. You know, same thing, quick start.
Yep.
You know, the D's really got to step up because, you know, you got and I always butcher his name, Zibanejad.
It's close. Savannah
Yeah,
I think.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So he's a Panther killer. Kreider's a Panther killer, and Panarin's a Panther killer. So we stop those three guys.
Right.
We got a good chance of winning.
Yep. I'll be, you know,
and Fox is out.
And Fox is out. So that's going to have an effect. There's no doubt about that. All right, bud.
Yeah, that's it.
This was good. I appreciate everybody who watches. Live stream tonight starts an hour before the game. So that's at 6:00. Then the recap after. Stu and I'll be back tomorrow after the game. And then a bunch of different things coming up. Not just, that's all I'm going to say. A bunch of different things coming up. I'm doing stuff for the All-Star break or the All-Star game weekend. And then I've got more content that I know what to do with lined up. I've got plenty of ideas and everything for the break. So no worries. They're probably going to end up pumping out 2 videos a day. So it'll be good. It'll be good. All right, guys. I will see you again later tonight in the live stream. And then
before we go. So listen, please post some comments on the trade proposition that I made for Chychrun. Okay. Again, Tippett, one of our defensive guys, Kierstead, Ulevy, Carlson, and a pick, which I think could be maybe a 4th or 5th round pick this year and a second in 2023. I'd like to just hear, you know, what you guys think about that. I personally think that's the most logical. But you guys might have a different opinion. And don't put anything about Lundell or Knight. Okay. don't even bother.
Now Steve's going to put that.
It's not going to get me riled up because it's not happening. Okay.
No, that's my job. Yeah.
All right. So that's all I got.
All right,
hopefully,
guys.
Hopefully we'll have another another victory cigar tomorrow.
Yep, I'm sure we will.
Ooh,